So obviously on this channel, I talk a lot about how you can overcome erythrophobia because I overcame the fear of blushing myself. And I figured that if I could do it and show it and prove that it's possible, that you might believe that it's possible for you as well. And that you would have this hope knowing that somebody overcame this thing that feels so debilitating. Today, what I want to talk to you about is no tips or tricks. I just want to remind you of who you are.
Gotta stand up straight. Gonna rise like a champion.
I was thinking about how we love a good movie where there's an underdog and the underdog grows and overcomes whatever the big challenge is, and then all of a sudden they conquer whatever that big challenge is. And it made me think about the fact that it's not often that the underdog needed all of these different tools in order to get to that place of evolution and success and conquering whatever the big thing was. It's that they go through this journey of highs and lows, and oftentimes a lot of lows, and they find themselves at this very pivotal moment where they have to decide, do I give up or do I go on from here? And that's when the dramatic music comes in. Usually there's some sort of wisdom-filled individual that talks to this person, or they reflect on a memory or a time, and they are reminded of who they are. They're reminded of what they're capable of. They dig deep into this place of grit and resilience, and they just rise up out of that place and they go for whatever the thing is and they conquer it, and it's a great movie. And we love that. And we never get tired of watching those types of movies. Also, when we go hear motivational speakers, people pay lots of money to hear somebody tell a message of hope and encouragement. And a lot of times they may give you some practical tips that are helpful, but nothing is new under the sun. Really, all that they are doing is reminding you of these things that you already know of. They may just say it in a different way or simplify it and break it down in a way that's easier for you to understand and more palatable. But I was thinking today that really what it comes down to is just being reminded of who you are. And so here on Blushing Phoenix, we like to talk to passionate, creative, and ambitious people who are held back by social hindrances, a lot of times through blushing, flushing, anxiety, social anxiety, and things of that nature. And I always tell you that you have to get into some sort of transformative action. When we sit in our feelings, when we sit in those sad, sad places, we just further reinforce how sad we are. Quick story. I have been recovering from COVID. It's my first time to get it that I'm aware of since the pandemic happened. And it is something else. To you, those of you who have recovered from COVID or have COVID right now, I am so sorry. It is the most bipolar virus I've ever experienced in my life. I've had major back pain. I lost my sense of taste and smell. That in and of itself is very depressing. And it just has this stream of symptoms that are not fun. I mean, being sick is not fun, period. But as soon as you feel like you're better, you're not better. It is crazy. I am recovering well, so I'm grateful for that. But it's not fun. And I have noticed that this week as I'm working, I feel when I'm alone, I'm just I sulk into my feelings and I feel nauseous, and I just go into this spiral of how bad I feel. And it's one thing to talk about it and express it. I've talked to my husband about it. Here's my symptoms for today. Here's my symptoms for this hour, because that's how it is sometimes. And then we just move on to different conversation topics that we normally would talk about, because just sitting and talking about how I feel being sick is not doing anything for anybody. And in fact, the more I talk about being sick, the more I just put my attention on how bad I feel. And then it just further reinforces and amplifies those bad feelings. When I get on a work call and I'm having a conversation, I'm distracted, I'm engaged in something, I don't feel as sick because my focus and energy is not on being sick. And where our focus goes, our energy flows. If you've heard that before. Again, it's just a reminder. It's nothing new. What we focus on will become amplified, and we will reinforce it by focusing on it. And I say all that to say that I could be really living some miserable days. I'm not denying how I feel. I know that those feelings are there, and I'm listening to my body when it's time to lay down and just rest or hydrate and all of those things. But I feel pretty good for the most part. Besides, I just don't feel like myself. And again, the sense of smell and taste or lack thereof it's a whole new element of not fun. So I say that to say to you, when you are flushing or you're dealing with anxiety or you're having some sort of social anxious situation, if you are focusing on how bad it is and you're just reminding yourself of how awful it is, you're going to feel the feelings, those uncomfortable feelings that come along with that, because you're just amplifying that thing that you already know is a thing. So why not remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of? When we get anxious about something, we get extremely hyperfixated on that thing, and it gets really big in our world. When we pull our perspective back and we see the broader picture and we remind ourselves of who we are, that big thing starts to get really small. So what if you put your focus and your attention on what a badass you are and the things that you have triumphed over, and when the odds were stacked against you, how you were able to push through those obstacles and overcome over and over and over again, my friend, because I know you have, because we all have. And so today's video, I just wanted to jump on here and remind you of who you are. You don't need tips and tricks today. You don't need 5 simple next steps. You have all the answers that you need. You possess all the information that you are going to ever need to keep becoming and evolving into this person that you love. You are whole as you are. Let me say that first. I just sent a newsletter out the other day talking about you are enough. As much as I talk about growing and evolving and healing and expanding, I just wanted to take a pause in that newsletter. So be sure to sign up for our newsletter. If you're not, that's in the description box below. But taking a pause just to tell you that you are enough as you are. So when we get in this like healing space, which I love, I think that's fantastic. Don't forget to live while you're healing. It's going to be a lifelong journey. The journey is the destination. So if you're waiting to arrive somewhere, you're going to waste your life away and have a lot of regret for that. So you are enough as you are. You have the tools of everything that you would ever need. It's really about just being reminded of who you are and what you're capable of right where you are. Think about when you have been so down and out, when you've showed up in situations where you just wanted to crawl in bed and pull the cover over your heads, and you showed up over your head and you showed up anyway. That's you. You are a badass. You are a force to be reckoned with, my friend. Like, do you know who you are? Well, I'm here to remind you of who you are and what you're capable of. And that's also why I call this channel Blushing Phoenix, because there is a burning down with the phoenix. The phoenix it burns, it deteriorates, it turns into the ash, and then it rises back up. And I think that that's so much of the beauty and the contrast of this life that we're living. You're not going through anything that nobody else is going through. It's not like this world just gave you a dose of this bullshit. You are just a human. You're having a human experience here on this earth for the short time that you're going to be here. So I want to encourage you to spend some time today reminding yourself of who you are, reflecting on who you are, and see yourself as you would a friend who's going through a hard time. And what would you say to that friend? I know that you look at your friend and you think, are you kidding me? Do you know who you are? So I'm saying that to you today, my friend, a simple reminder that you just need to be reminded that you are worthy, you are valuable, you are enough just as you are, and you are capable of everything and anything that you need to do to succeed. You have your tools, and if you don't have what you need, you will go find it, because you're capable of doing that, and you've done it many times before. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would just be triumphing around. People sulk in their feelings. They get lost in the feeling. The feelings are important as a guide. And then there's a moment where those feelings go, all right, go. And if you feel that voice inside of you that's saying, go, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Do you know who you are? I do.
Rise up, rise up, rise up. When you've had enough, when the crowd gets rough.